And good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition here of the Men of Steel podcast. Well, of course, here's truly Charles Prodigy, Richey right now. Getting ready to wrap up the first week of training camp here that took place in Heinz Field. As we are getting ready to count down right now, we are about less than a week away from the Pro Football Hall of Fame festivities. And plus, we'll also be going from there. Prior to that, the Pittsburgh Steelers will be playing the Dallas Cowboys in the Hall of Fame game this Thursday on August 5th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. As we'll see the class of 2020 right now. Heard some news on late Friday evening, of course, with Troy Polamalu announcing that he tested positive. Trying to keep his fingers. I mean, he said he's feeling great, but keeping his fingers crossed, working with everybody at the Hall of Fame, see if he will still be able to attend or not. But I got to tell you right there, definitely be a huge loss if he's not able to be there in person. But anyway, I'm sure they will honor him either way. Hopefully do a video presentation if he's not there physically in person. Yours truly will be attending this Saturday. I will not be for the 2021 class due to obligation I got to do on Monday morning, but to at least have the inductees of not only Donnie Shell, of the Steel Curtain. And of course, you got Bill Cowher, Troy Polamalu, that class. Those guys are special to me as far as as my personal all-time greats in Steeler history, if you ask me. Bill Cowher is a guy who definitely made me become a diehard Steeler fan and follow this team since 21 years old and loved him for a long time, longer than that. And of course, Troy Polamalu, my favorite Steeler all time over every person that's put on a black and gold uniform throughout. But I will say this right now. You got a lot of stuff trending right now. Training camp, unfortunately, no games in Latrobe. No camp practice in Latrobe this year for the second straight year. Due to the NFLPA nixing things as far as looking out for player safety in that regard as to why it won't be happening. And a lot of things that definitely have been quite noticeable, too, when we see it with training camp. You hardly see any autographs be taking place amongst fans where they get a little closer. Instead, people are getting free mobile tickets for the Steeler app or for the website itself. And like I said, you're watching from quite a far distance versus you see up more closer in person going up that hill at St. Vincent College. I mean, that's definitely one of the things right there. A lot of people will say as part of the Pittsburgh Steelers training camp experience. I was there 2 years ago when it was last year, fortunately. And I think they had one more day of training camp after that. But anyway, I had a blast regardless. Was able to go down there. I mean, don't forget, it was also sad, too, because the last time it was down there, it was also the passing of Daryl Drake, who passed away on August 11th of 2019. And really took the wind out as far as being around festivities. For there, they had to cancel practice for about a few days. I think they resumed practice back on Tuesday, I want to say it was the last day that it happened. And it was a sad weekend, just all of a sudden, I think it was heart condition, but still. And you just fast forward and just think of just what happened shortly after that. I mean, Pittsburgh Steelers were getting ready to have a rebound from missing the playoffs the previous season. No more of the Killer Bees officially with Antonio Brown out and about pretty much at that point, as he was having a fallout with his new team, the Oakland Raiders. And definitely a lot of luggage on him going on in his personal life. He was able to get straightened out this past season. But still, you look at everything, what were the things that fall with that Steelers season? Ben Roethlisberger gets hurt in the home opener against the Seattle Seahawks in week number 2, halftime throwing elbow injury. And then where we go from there, the famous trade right there, too, with surrendering a first-round pick for Mika Fitzpatrick. I mean, which the Steelers have religiously never done with anybody I mean, if anything, when they did trade away first round picks, if it was back of the Steelers of old. And when I talk Steelers of old, I'm talking about when Dan Rooney was in the picture with his father, Art Rooney. You're talking about the bad teams of the 60s, the 50s, where they'd be trading a lot of their draft capital. You would hear legendary Hall of Fame coach Chuck Noll, who was coach then, who insisted through Art Rooney that you never trade away your draft capital. Those are people you want to try and develop right there. You want to try and build up as much stock as you can and try and groom your players. Well, like I said, it was a different scenario right there once again for a guy like Mika Fitzpatrick who came in here, and thank God he was there because when the Steelers did pick him up at the time when they made the signing for him, he was only 22 years old at that time. It was going to be turning 23 that season. I mean, he only played one season in Miami. I mean, first round, 11th overall pick in the 2018 NFL draft, coming out of Alabama right here. I mean, national champion right there. I mean, you look at what he's been able to do right there and how much of a game changer he was for this defense that year. And when you think about like the Steelers defense, more particularly that year, I mean, a team who back in 2018 for that season where they struggled miserably in creating turnovers. They only had 15 turnovers altogether on the defense, which include a pitiful 8 interceptions and 7 fumble recoveries. Fast forward a year later, what happened? A big time spike in that regard right there. I mean, not only that, they also had Terrell Austin Sr. too, to the defense backs coach. Mike Thomas definitely trying to rectify this area. And what ends up happening, you have like your interception and total goal pretty much more than double the following year. Then you have 20 interceptions, 18 fumble recoveries for 38 takeaways. 38 takeaways versus a miserable 15 plus 23 in takeaways as far as improvement goes. Just show you how much Mika Magic had on this team right now. And so as we're looking at it right now, I mean, in training camp, one of the many highlights has definitely been, we heard this pretty much a lot throughout the season. The Steelers' success is definitely being more incumbent on the success of the offensive line, which is definitely, I think no one could argue right here. I mean, in that regard, you have to definitely look at it that way. I mean, you even saw like a couple of times though too. I mean, this week there were some struggles with Ben Roethlisberger and Kendrick Green, a few botched snaps with Roethlisberger and Kendrick. I mean, right now, I mean, you got J.C. Hassenauer right there as the interim center for the time being on the depth chart. When we let's go take a look at the depth chart real quick. That was announced last Sunday. And here's the new wave of the offensive line right now. Outside of J.C. Hassenauer, they also got right now left tackle Chukwuma Okorafor, who Kevin Colbert definitely seems to feel that, you know, if Zach Banner would have been competing with Chooks on left tackle, Chukwuma Okorafor had that position left down. They seem to view him more better as a left tackle right now. And of course, you got a right tackle right now, Zach Banner, who's trying to come back right now from injury. Then you also got for your left guard and right guard, you got Kevin Johnson right now at left. Right guard, Trey Turner right now, see how he does this year. I mean, it's definitely going to be a real interesting game changer, I mean, from this right now. Definitely a new wave, new generation right now. I mean, Ramon Foster talked about like how his time too, when, you know, like guys like him and Pouncey had to like turn over from guys like Max Starks or whatever. I mean, from the previous offensive line, what they had to do. Because now you look at the biggest differences right now. I mean, of course, with Alejandro Villanueva, I mean, he signed with the Ravens back late in April, I believe it was. And then also too, I mean, outside here, right guard, I mean, David Castro, no more. Instead, you got Trey Turner filling his spot for the time being. And then, like I said, I think Pouncey right now, believe it or not, I think the Steelers are going to feel his loss hugely this year, if you ask me. And I'm going to tell you, that is, I mean, we talk about how much this run game needs to improve. I mean, think a guy like Najee Harris will be the difference maker for those short yardage attempts right here for this season. I mean, definitely, I've been writing a check so far, cashing it so far in practice, and then some. Because I gotta tell you right now, for the time being, I like what I'm hearing about this guy. And I think for right now, I mean, if you're a Steelers fan, you have to be encouraged right now. I mean, you look at one example where Cam Hayward kind of had stuff for a moment, but he was able to squeak out 5 extra yards. Just the fight that he has right now and the energy he's trying to bring. And we'll see how this translates into this year. But anyway, going on the opening right here, Kevin Colbert, according to Dale Lally, DK Pittsburgh Sports, said he felt comfortable. He appears comfortable with the offensive line. We knew it was going to be a little bit of a mix and match, but we were comfortable with the group we had. Albeit we had to add Trey Turner after we moved on from David Castro. Colbert said, as Steelers moved over to the Heinz Field for the first practice in this year's training camp. They over a month ago, don't forget, when they did release David Castro by cutting him, they saved about $8 million in cap space as opposed to waiting for him to recover. And Kevin Colbert did go on to continue to say that literally our cap situation changed 3 weeks ago coming out of the mini camp when we decided to move on from David, Colbert said. Now we had cap room. Now we're like, wait a minute, this player's available. Now we might be able to sign him. He was looking for a certain number back in spring. Now he might be more affordable. We tried to make those decisions. We're happy with the group as it comes together at this point. When Melvin Ingram was still available and we could work that, we were glad to do it. When Trey Turner was available and workable, we were happy to do that. We'll see what we got. And like I said, I mean, you know, like not only like Alejandro Villanueva, David Castro, don't forget too, left guard Matt Tyler, he's signed with the Chargers right now. That is another loss right now, which the Steelers will be seeing later on in November of this year. And they'll be facing the LA Chargers on November 21st. That will be the Steelers' 10th opponent of the season right there as we look at it for that point. So that'll be in Week 11, their 10th opponent right there in LA in SoFi Stadium. So they'll be seeing him up close and personal right there. I mean, when you truly look at and see what they do, I mean, also too, I mean, going up, I mean, in that matchup right there, I mean, for the Chargers, going up against for that season, Justin Herbert right there. Justin Herbert right now, who has done pretty solid as a rookie. I mean, has a 6-9 record, of course, but 4,336 yards, 31 touchdowns, 10 receptions, has only been sacked 32 times. But when you look at his quarterback rating, not bad for like his rookie year, about 98.3. I mean, this guy has had 3 game-winning drives, 1 fourth quarter comeback, and the longest he's thrown was for 72 yards. We'll see how he does. I mean, this year under the Chargers banner, I mean, as they'll come to take a look at right now, our other head coach, Brandon Staley right now, who for the most part will be taking over for the former head coach of the Chargers and Anthony Lynn. So we'll see how that works out. I mean, with that matchup, Steelers usually having a pretty good record against rookie quarterbacks for the most part. I mean, in that, and when you look at it. So right now, I mean, listen, I got to believe right now, I mean, when you look at all those key noticeable losses right here, I mean, for the most part, I mean, It's definitely going to be a challenging year. A lot of people at the end of the day, I mean, I was hearing Bob Papiani saying that he expects the Steelers record to be no more than right now. I think at 11-6. I think for this year. I mean, you even got guys like Jerry Dulac. I want to say he has him at 9-8. One other person has him about 10-7 as well. But I mean, speaking of a guy like Justin Herbert too, I mean, when you look at it, I mean, for going in there, I mean, we'll see what happens in that time when they go face the Chargers in SoFi later on that season right now. And Ben Roethlisberger, for right now in his career, he has the most wins so far against first round quarterbacks at 70 wins so far when we look at it. I mean, so let's see what happens. I mean, for the most part, so we got a lot more stuff to get in here right now. Also, too, I mean, staying with the offensive line right now, Tomlin did say last week that Green, he will be getting a start in the Hall of Fame game this week when the Steelers do be facing the Cowboys. I mean, Colbert did mention that it was going to be a transitional period, especially once Marquise decided to retire. That was one spot. We knew we were going to have trouble signing L based on where we were with our cap situation. So there you have it right there. That's it. What we got for the offensive line right now as we look at it for right now going into this. I mean, I definitely got to believe right now the offensive line definitely going to be pivotal right now.